It is a beautiful Thursday morning at the 12th of December 2024, and the time is exactly 2 minutes past the hour of 10 o'clock. Greetings to you, the GIC viewers and listeners within and beyond the borders of the Republic of Namibia. And a very warm welcome to your Thursday morning edition of the Offices, Ministries and Agencies Information Sharing Session, coming to you live from the Government Information Center studio with me, Hilani Philippus Hamunyela. Now, on the menu this morning, we are talking pre-retirement program offered by the Ministry of Labor, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation. But as is the norm, before I can officially welcome my studio guests for this morning, I would like to pause here and extend a warm invitation to you, Namibia, to be part of this discussion by following this conversation on our social media platforms, where we are currently streaming this show live. Now on Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communications Technology, or alternatively, if you are a YouTuber, you can stream us live on our YouTube channel, and our handle there is MICT Namibia. Be part of this discussion by posting your questions in the comment section on our social media platforms. And of course, I will be eager to learn and hear from you what questions you have for my studio guests this morning. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please help me welcome my studio guests for this morning. On my far left, I'm joined by Ms. Christine Leipert. She is a psychological counselor with the Ministry of Labor, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation. Ms. Leipert, once again, good morning and welcome to the Government Information Center.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Right. I am joined by a gentleman in the studio. His name is Mr. Asino Edward, and he's an intern or psychological psychological counselor, with the Ministry of Labor, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Government Information Center.
No, good morning and thank you very much for your welcome.
Right. Now, Ms. Leipert, I would like to start with you. For the benefit of our viewers and listeners, briefly talk to us about what a pre-retirement program is by definition and what it entails, as well as why it is important for employees to consider it.
Thank you. Well, retirement is a
retirement.
Retirement is the formal resignation from your place of work once you have reached the expected age. For our country, it's the age of 60.
Okay.
So people have been working for most of their adult life, and it has to come to an end. So before you go on retirement, Ministry of Labor has a program that we run every year in the different regions, where we equip pre-retirees on things to plan for before they retire. We have observed over the years that when people retire, they lose purpose, they lose focus, and when they get the pension monies, within a few months or years or 5 years down the line, they are broke and despondent. So that's why we came up with this program where we equip our people to adjust and to better spend their resources and their time in retirement.
Okay. Duly noted. Now, Mr. Asino, talk to us about some of the most common concerns that you have observed pertaining to clients on the expression of the pre-retirement counseling sessions.
Mostly the ministry encounters problems mainly to do with health and financial management. With health, it is the concern of how much spending will be done with regards to their health, with regards to also how they can maintain their health in the best way. So it includes nutrition and all those things.
Okay.
And also, when it comes to the money, it really concerns how their money will be spent, if their money is enough, because when you stop working, you stop getting a monthly income, and it's rather just a large sum amount. So financial planning is a big concern that they also bring up.
Okay.
They also bring up family concerns. Some are concerned that their family might, not see them as useful as they used to because they don't have the same income.
Right.
Others may see that the family start to take advantage of them. So there's a lot of family dynamics that also pull up or they pop up in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Leipert, how do you address financial planning as part of the pre-retirement program?
The program has different aspects that it addresses, financial planning being one of the most important aspects in retirement. We do a situational analysis of what the finances look like at the current moment, and then we look at where the gaps are in terms of saving for retirement.
Okay.
And then we look at the ways forward for planning, and then we engage our stakeholders, the financial institutions, to do financial literacy.
Okay. Now, away from that, Mr. Asino, briefly talk to us about the strategies that you have in place to assist individuals emotionally prepare for retirement.
With regards to the ministry's program, in our programs we like to ask people their personal opinions on their retirement.
Okay.
That gives us a better, more accurate description to go off of instead of just generalizing their concerns.
Okay.
We also like to discuss pre-retirement early on in the employees' careers, so it's not just introduced to them in the later stages, because it is a bit better to start early. And it is also involves, you can refer people to go to counseling, where they can have an individual counselor or psychologist who can help them go through this stage and better prepare for retirement.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Yes. Retirement is a developmental milestone. So the package or the program has been designed in such a way that we address mental health.
Okay.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes. So that they are prepared mentally and to be able to accept that one day I'm going to retire. And when the time comes, they willingly retire and they adjust and smoothly transition into the retirement.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, having said that, Ms. Leipert, I would like to find out from you, how does retirement affect one's identity and a sense of purpose? How do you then assist your clients to find purpose and meaning after retirement? Of course, taking into account what you've earlier on mentioned.
Yes. Yes. Retirement, like when we are employed, our identity is mostly linked to what we do in life, the job. And most of our socialization is even at work. We spend most of the day
At work, yes.
at work. And so it becomes part of our identity. And when you ask somebody, who are you? The first thing they will say is, I'm a lawyer. You know, I'm a psychologist. Nah? And when you retire, and especially it's difficult for those people who have higher positions because of the status that goes with it. And when they retire, they lose like the
That
purpose,
sense of-
that
yeah.
sense of I was an important person. Nah?
Now I'm just
an ordinary citizen.
right.
Yeah. So the program is designed in such a way that we create awareness of those issues and just to help them to transition and not to feel like my life is over once you stop working.
Right.
Because there is life after retirement. Yes.
Okay. Right. Would you like to expound more on that, Ms. Asino?
No, I believe she covered
All right.
everything, especially with regards to the identity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, sticking with you, how do you incorporate health wellness into the pre-retirement training? And how can pre-retirement training programs, of course, address health and wellness for the retirees?
At first, we always emphasize to them how important their health is. It's not just their physical well-being, but also their mental well-being. And in that, it requires you to care for you in a different way, especially after retirement. You have more time on your hands. So we can address, nutrition, how to better your nutrition throughout the days so that you're not either eating the same food or eating food that is not helpful for you.
Okay.
Incorporating exercise programs which are comfortable for you and also don't cause too much strain on your body, as well as also that it can also improve your mental health in just a period over time. And we also emphasize the importance of financial planning.
Okay.
Because if you do not have proper financial planning, it can bring a lot of stress to you.
Absolutely.
And that can bring even physical and mental challenges. So we emphasize financial planning, and just so you're more comfortable and you also have a better idea of how you'll be spending the time that you have.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, well covered there. Now, Namibia, if you're just tuning in, you are tuned into an information sharing session at the Government Information Center here in Windhoek. And this is with me, Helene Fela-Pasamunyela. And as earlier mentioned, this morning we are talking pre-retirement program offered by the Ministry of Labor, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation. And I am joined in the studio by a team of well-versed representatives from the ministry that are here to help shed more light on today's topic of discussion. You too can be part of this conversation by following the discussion on our social media platforms, where we are currently streaming this show live. Now on Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communications Technology, or alternatively, you can stream us live on our YouTube channel, and our handle there is MICT Namibia. Be part of this discussion and add your questions in our comment sections at on our social media platforms where we are currently live. Now, back to our discussion, Ms. Leibert. What role does career counseling play in pre-retirement planning, especially for individuals considering post-retirement work, because there's something as such?
Yes. Career counseling is aimed towards helping people decide what they want to do, and in this process, we help people to identify what their interests and aptitudes and their other predisposing factors are, so that they can find meaningful activities to do after they retire.
Okay.
Because sometimes just relying on the pension fund may not be enough. So people have to revert to some other income generating activities.
Okay.
And for some people, that's the time when they get to live the life they always wanted.
Right.
And so they want to explore what they can do. So that's where career counseling and guidance may be important.
Okay.
In helping them to see what are my interests, what are my aptitudes, what type of a person am I, and what can I do. So we can also explore those
options. Okay, and now I'd like to find out from you. Are we a nation that once you have retired, you really want to stay at home and enjoy your pension money and do your extra mural activities that you've always wanted to do? Or are we leaning more towards a nation that is like, once I've retired, I probably in my profession, I can still, consider working? Where are we as a nation?
Currently, my observation
is...
Yes,
your personal observation.
Yes. Over the years, mostly people who retire just think that it's my time. I'm going to relax and do my leisure activities, or go to the farm and do my farming,
Yes.
or start a business, or you know. But recently, I think people have evolved. We have evolved,
Yes.
and we would like to be meaningful in the workspace
Yes.
that we were in, that we're familiar with. So people do go on taking up meaningful work
After
in line,
retiring.
active work in line with their professions.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, thank you for that information. Now, Mr. Asinon, what are some of the psychological challenges that retirees face, and how do you prepare them to cope with those?
A lot of what we hear is, as mentioned before, the identity. When it comes to retiring, you lose and not working anymore. You lose a lot of, say now, your daily routine and everything. So some people may have a sense of like a loss of purpose,
Right.
or loss of value in the community.
Yes.
So we try and manage that in the best way so that they don't see it like that. We also look at the fear of the unknown. It's a very big process for them, because also with work, it also brings a sense of stability.
Absolutely.
So once you leave that stability, it's often you're just in the open. So the fear of unknown is very common as well. And also just change in general. Some people are welcome to change, some people are not welcome to
Reluctant to change.
Yes, they're very reluctant to change, because change can also make you feel more comfortable and maybe more secure in planning and everything. So after retirement, people often don't know how much will change when it comes to either family dynamics, community dynamics, financial dynamics, and the whole, and those traits, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think that the fear of the unknown,
Yes.
when you're closer to your retirement, people tend to become anxious. Nah? And that's one of the things that we address. Some of our clients in the workshops that we have encountered,
Yes.
they are so close to retirement, maybe some 2 months before their retirement, and having to learn all these things about financial planning, physical health, mental health,
Routine change.
activities to plan for, and estate planning.
Yes.
You know, having to make a will and testament. It's sometimes overwhelming for them to think, wow, I only have this time left. What am I going to do now? Where do I start? You know?
Yeah.
So anxiety is one of the things that we have
Okay.
noticed.
Okay.
And depression does also occur among people who are
Close to retiring.
close to retirement. Yes, that's due to the purpose.
Yeah.
Nah?
Loss
Yeah.
of purpose.
Yeah, loss of purpose.
Yeah.
Some people, when they get that lump sum, what they do is party, and sometimes it's unhinged
Yeah.
because the money is there.
Yes.
So alcohol abuse can become a challenge in retirees as well.
Okay. Now, for those that are going through depression or anxiety due to a soon-to-be retiree, what advice do you have for them? During your sessions, of course, what advice do you normally give them? Because if somebody is depressed and they are 2 months to retiring, how do you
Yes.
advise them, and maybe how, or better yet, where do you refer them? Because of course you are counselors, but what medical advices do you give them?
We have in the tool we have resources that we refer them to,
Okay.
like to see psychological counselors or private psychologists
Yeah.
or counselors,
Okay.
even at the mental health, at Ministry of Health, and or just to speak to anybody. And there are some symptoms that we also share in the training workshop,
Right.
that if they see those signs, that they should be aware that, okay, I'm heading into depression. No, this is anxiety, this is stress.
Okay.
So they know the signs and when to seek help. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, your services, it sounds so interesting, and but I would like to know, is there any cost implications, or is it free of charge?
Our services are free of charge. Yes.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
So free of charge it is.
Yes.
Okay.
If I add, we mainly focus on government employees.
Okay.
Yes. So we invite different ministries to send the participants. Yeah. But it's, I don't know, but maybe in due time we can expand it to the private companies, or
Okay. Private sector.
sector. Yeah.
Okay, so what we are saying is that at the moment the service is only rendered to government employees.
Mostly,
employees.
yes.
Okay, mostly. All right. I know I'm glad to learn all these things, because I'm sure for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, they are also learning a thing or two from this conversation. Now, Mr. Asino, how does pre-retirement counseling help individuals prepare for life after work? And what are some of the biggest challenges that people face as they approach retirement?
So I'll more answer the second part, because it was mentioned before.
Yes.
So the lack of understanding of how to use that time of resources is a big concern, and that can lead into many concerns like Ms. Christine mentioned, which like anxiety and depression may form. What we mainly try and focus on in our retirement counseling is how we can best prepare individuals for that time and for that developmental stage, because it is coming. And even if you're reluctant for the retirement to happen, it will happen, because eventually it will happen. So we do our best to make people feel more comfortable within their identity, within their own selves. We also help them find passions, hobbies, or maybe interests that they maybe forgot about during their work time due to the lack of time, that they can try and bring back, just to help them, like Ms. Christine mentioned, have a more meaningful time with the free time that they have. And also the resources, how to not squander them, so that they don't feel disappointed with themselves or stressed with themselves when a situation occurs that the money could have been used for.
Right.
Yes.
Also to eliminate debt
Right.
before you head
Very
into
important.
retirement, because when you retire and you have huge debt, some useful debt and others not so useful.
Right.
So all that debt is going to be taking
Deducted from.
a chunk from your
Absolutely.
pension. No?
Right.
And that's money that you could have been enjoying. So pay off your debts before you go into retirement.
Way before you go into
Way
retirement.
before you go into retirement.
All right. Now, Ms. Leipert, talk to us about some of the key components that successful pre-retirement program entails. I mean, away from the challenges, we've, I think, exhausted the challenges. Just briefly touch on the key components.
Okay, the key components of this program is mostly mental health and planning for activities that you will do in retirement to retain that sense of purpose. No? And physical health, because if you're not in a good state of health, you're not going to enjoy retirement. So take care of yourself even while you're still working. And the activities that you're going to do in retirement, you should start doing now already.
Right.
Yeah. So that you are aware of what it entails, because starting a business while you have no clue with your pension money and then running bankrupt after a few years or months. Buying a new car, some people don't even have driver's licenses.
I kid you
And
not.
with the pension money, you buy the brand new bakkie that you always wanted. And then maintenance costs. Some people don't have housing. We also look at housing, where you're going to live after you retire. What are your plans? So all those things need to be planned for. Nutrition needs to be planned for. Physical activity, we also do some exercises in the program,
Okay.
so that people maintain some physical activity and to retain the muscle and the bone strength. And we also look at how to make a will and testament. We invite lawyers or from Ministry of Justice, experts to speak on how to make a valid will,
Okay.
and some loopholes and things to look out for. Yeah.
Okay. So how often do you conduct these programs or seminars?
This program is run in all our regions where we have our offices, and every office in the region is supposed to have one in the different quarters of the year.
Okay.
So every year, every office or throughout the country, we should have done it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So each office per quarter a session.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Asino, I haven't forgotten about you.
No problem.
How can retirees stay active and engaged in their communities after or post-retirement?
A lot of the times people may feel because they're not working anymore that they don't offer value, but we often say to them that is not the case. We often encourage community work within their old professions because they would be experts. So they offer a lot of knowledge and experience to share with their community.
Absolutely.
So they can even start doing courses or start teaching or start doing volunteering teaching to help the community. We also encourage them to, even before retirement, you start learning new skills. For example, if you didn't know how to garden, you learn how to pick up gardening. And over time, through your retirement, you could perhaps even start to provide your community with locally produced foods. We also encourage them to learn new skills that boost their mental capacity in things that will not keep them just in their house, but will encourage them to be outside in the community, to participate more, to interact more with the people, and in that regard.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Would you like to expound more on that, Ms. Leipert, or is everything covered?
It's very important to be engaged, socially engaged,
Okay.
so that you don't become lonely.
Right.
Yeah, because loneliness in your elderly years, it's eating you up, you know. So yeah, get involved,
Okay.
even with family or other church activities or community, anything.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, Ms. Leipert, what advice would you give to someone who feels anxious or unprepared for retirement? I know we briefly touched on that when we were addressing the question whereby what challenges we experience. But if you can just briefly maybe just allude to those, please.
Yes. I will advise people to join our pre-retirement program when we offer it. I think from now on, I think with this exposure, people are aware. So please do attend our training program. And if you feel really anxious, go see a mental health practitioner.
Okay.
Yes.
Very important. You've mentioned about retirees joining your program. Where do you perhaps get hold of these applications? Where does the process take place? How long is it? And if you can just briefly take us through.
When we have our program, we write invitations to the different ministries.
Okay.
And so the ministries will nominate participants. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So is there a need for someone, okay, you've mentioned this, so the ministry would actually facilitate then on behalf and appoint perhaps those who are close to retirement.
Yes.
Okay, so there is no application necessary as long as the names are submitted to the
Yes.
Ministry of Labor. That
Yes.
should suffice.
Yes.
Okay. We are slowly but surely coming to the end of our discussion this morning. But perhaps before we wrap up, I'd like to find out from you. I'll start with you, Mr. Asino. How can families support their loved ones, especially during the transitioning time of retirement?
We, as a family, we have a very big role in the support that we can give pre-retirees.
Okay.
One of the biggest ways we can support them is identifying that we should also respect their time and their resources, because a lot of people may assume, okay, now that you're retired, you have more time, maybe they'll drop their grandkids or kids by them and assume that, okay, no, you can take care of the kids and everything.
With their hard-earned pension.
Yes, with their hard-earned pension. So we encourage them to respect their time and resources. Also help them to not, even if maybe some people are stubborn in their ideas, do help them so that you can pick their ideas for flaws so that the ideas don't fail and cause them to be more stressed with their decisions. Be more open to them being around the family, encourage more time spending with the family because they do have more time. At times, maybe when people have been working, they spend a lot of time with their work.
Yes.
So we should not consider that time as time lost and just use the new time rather to, create better moments and everything.
And bond with their families.
Yes, and bond with their families
Yes.
because now they're not, for example, they're not working throughout the whole week. They can go visit people.
They have more time on their
They
hands.
have more time on their hands. So we always just emphasize that respecting the new time and respecting people's time is one of the best ways you can help them in retirement. Don't just abandon them to be on their own or don't try and be too much in their space. Just find a middle ground
To balance.
to balance it, yes.
Okay. Not too much in their face, also not too away.
Yes, yeah, not too away. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Ms. Leibert, what would your advice be?
I would say planning is the key word. Plan. Because if you don't have a plan, other people will have plans for you. Because as my colleague mentioned, they have a plan with your time. They'll drop the grandkids. They'll have a plan with your money. They want to borrow. And if you have your own plans and things to do, you can make excuses to say, no, but I have this and this to do. If you don't plan, because some people think that when it comes to retirement, money is everything.
Right.
But it's not that. If you don't have a plan for things to do after retirement, that money will be meaningless. It will come and go through your fingers. So, plan.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to pause here and thank you so much for coming out and educate the Namibian nation with regards to pre-retirement program that is offered by your ministry. We truly very highly appreciate your time and effort, especially for coming and talk to us this morning. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
All right.
Right.
And just like that, we've come to the end of our discussion now for this session. Please do join us again shortly when we unpack another fruitful discussion here at the GIC. From myself, Helene Felabusamunyela. Until just now, take care.